Senator Cormann.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I seek leave to move a motion to give precedence to the introduction and consideration of a bill for an act to amend the Health Insurance Act 1973 to provide for the revival of certain medical services items should later items be disallowed, and business of the Senate notice of motion number 3 for today.
Is leave granted? Leave is not granted. Senator Cormann.
Mr. President, pursuant to contingent notice and at the request of the Leader of the Opposition in the Senate, Senator Minchin, I move that so much of the standing orders be suspended as would prevent us from moving a motion to provide for the consideration of a matter, namely a motion to give precedence to a motion for the introduction of a bill for an act to amend the Health Insurance Act 1973 to provide for the revival of certain medical services items should later items be disallowed, and consideration of that bill and business of the Senate notice of motion number 3.
Question. Senator Cormann.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just in speaking to this motion very briefly, more than 7 weeks ago, the Coalition, together with Senators Fielding and Xenophon, gave notice of our intention to disallow government moves to reduce Medicare rebates for cataract surgery. We made it very clear that our intention was to prevent the government from cutting those rebates, and certainly not to delete those items from the regulations altogether. The reason we want to prevent the government from cutting those rebates is because we take the view that it will hurt patients. It will make this life-changing surgery unaffordable for many Australians. It will push them into the public health system, where the particular procedure is actually more expensive, and it will hurt Australians, in particular in rural and regional Australia. Now, Minister Roxon has had plenty of notice. Minister Roxon has had plenty of notice. And has she done anything? She hasn't done anything at all. True to form, she sat on her hands at first. Then came out the scare campaign. And then, yesterday, 2 days ago, in her usual reckless fashion, she pressed ahead, irrespective of the fact that she well knew that a majority of senators in this chamber were not supportive of the cut that the government was trying to push through the parliament. Now, Mr. President, we were keen to handle this issue in a very sensible and reasonable fashion. This is a very unusual process for us to use, and we don't do this lightly. Our intention had been, and we sort of made very clear what our intention was. Our intention was to stop the government from cutting those rebates for cataract surgery by 50%. And we wanted to do it in a very responsible and reasonable fashion. So we gave notice yesterday of a disallowance motion, and we also gave notice that we would seek to amend the Health Insurance Act. Now, in good faith, we informed senators in the chamber how we intended to do this. We were going to move 2 amendments to the Health Insurance Amendment Compliance Bill 2009. That would have been a very easy, non-disruptive way for the Senate to deal with this. Now, what does the government do? What does the government do? Rather than to grasp the opportunity of cleanly and smoothly handling this particular challenge that is faced by the Senate, at the last minute, even though the government for the whole week has been telling us that this is a very important bill for them, it's an urgent bill for them, it's been listed on the Senate red on Monday and on Tuesday, at the last minute, seconds before the Health Insurance Amendment Compliance Bill was due to pass the House of Representatives, just before that third reading vote took place, the government deferred further consideration of that bill. That was a reckless and irresponsible move, and by doing so the government does not leave us with any option other than to take the steps that we have undertaken here today. So, Mr. President, this is a very serious issue. The Coalition, together with Senators Fielding and Xenophon, has made it very clear that we do not support this savage cut to Medicare rebates to cataract surgery. We think it will hurt patients. We think it will push them into the public system, into the lengthy and overburdened, lengthy public hospital queues, and we think it will hurt patients, in particular in regional Australia. So we will do what it takes. And if this is what it takes, Minister, then this is what we will have to do. And because the government was well aware that here they were trying to push through a budget cut for which they did not have the majority of the Senate. And now here we are. It is due to come into effect on the 1st of November. It's due to come into effect on the 1st of November. It was announced on budget night in May. And here we are. 2 days ago, the government finally tabled those regulations with 4 days to go. And here we've got Nicola Roxon, the health minister, out there frightening patients, frightening doctors, threatening the Senate. Because there's only 4 days to go, saying if you pass this disallowance motion, there will be no rebate at all. It's a disgrace. It is an absolute disgrace. Now, the process that we are engaging in today will give the government an opportunity to deal with this matter responsibly. Our intention is to ensure that if the Senate were to disallow those rebates, these Medicare rebates for cataract surgery, that we will revert to the Medicare rebates that are currently in place. That is the intention of our process that we are engaging in today.